inexhaustible like that. And we are in our current series for this particular month. We're going to be talking about Jesus Saves. We got our big old banner right here, and we're going to be preaching on, teaching on, and speaking about all that is that Jesus saves. I'm excited. Y'all can be quiet all y'all want to. I'm excited because I already know what's in this thing. I already know what I get to do. And every so often you get excited when God gives you an assignment that you want to do. I don't know if y'all remember that, like when you got an assignment in school that you wanted to do, when your parents gave you something that you actually wanted to do, when your friend called you and was like, that's exactly what I want to do. So yeah, let's do this thing. That's how I feel today. I want to do this one that God has given me to do this one. So y'all can sit there and be quiet. I am going to go on up to wherever God takes me to go. So let's get on into this word that he has for me. We are going to go to Luke chapter 23. We're going to start at verse 39. We're going to go down to verse 43 in the New Living Translation. I am a Quentin Tarantino fan. And so what I tend to do sometimes when I'm doing messages and whatnot, I tend to sometimes start at the end. You know how if you ever watch a Quentin Tarantino movie, he moves stuff around. You know what I'm saying? Can some of y'all move to the front so we got folks coming in? Hello, good to see y'all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. We got room for you. We're glad to see you. Come on into this place. Hello. Hey, Dana. Hello. Yes. So what we're going to do is, I know we are talking all about Jesus, and normally you should start at the beginning, but I'm going to kind of start at the end, and we're going to move around a little bit. Like I said, kind of like a movie that's chopped up into little bitty pieces. So y'all work with me because I'm a little unorthodox in that way. So we're going to start with Luke. We're going to go to chapter 23. We're going to read verses 39 through 43 in the New Living Translation because I just like the way that it sounds. It's for you on the screen. Let's read it together.
One of the criminals hanging beside him scoffed. So you're the Messiah, are you? Prove it by saving yourself and us too while you're at it. But the other criminal protested, don't you fear God even when you have been sentenced to die? We deserve to die for our crimes, but this man hasn't done anything wrong. Then he said, Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. And Jesus replied, I assure you, today you will be with me in paradise.
All right, you can go ahead and have your seats. Again, what we are talking about this particular month is about Jesus saves. And I don't know about anybody else, but for me, when I hear saves or somebody saving somebody, first thing comes to my mind is a hero, right? A superhero, whether if it be your anime heroes, if it be somebody on film, if it be somebody that actually has been a hero in your life, whether it's your parents or whomever you look up to like that in a hero's kind of standpoint. So if we're going to talk about somebody saving, that means we got to talk about a hero. And so today we're going to talk from the topic, hanging with a hero.
All right.
We're going to talk about hanging with a hero. Because what we were talking about in that particular verse, for those of you that do not know, we were talking about Jesus being on the cross. That whole section that they have right there, he was already on the cross hanging. He was already on the cross dying. He was already going through what he was going through, and he had two people that was alongside of him. And so all of them are hanging and dying right there in that particular moment. But we're going to talk about a hero. So first off, let's make sure we understand what that is, right? A hero is a person that's defined as somebody that is admired or idealized for courage, outstanding achievement, and noble qualities. Usually they're a person that has superhuman qualities and they are of some kind of divine origin. So these are the things that we're using as a standard to define what a hero is. Heroes do what is right at all times. Heroes stand up to evil. Heroes defend the defenseless. Heroes do what normal people can't or just simply won't do. Heroes, above everything else, though, they save people. That's what a hero does. When you think about a hero, and they can't be a hero if they don't save nobody. What kind of hero is that? If they have all this ability and all this power and they choose not to save anybody, what kind of hero are we really talking about here? And so if that's the criteria for a hero, I declare with full certainty that Jesus Christ is a hero, right? But don't take my word for it. Anytime y'all hear me up here talking at any point in time, fact check me. I don't mind being checked. Look it up. Pull out your phones. Google what I'm talking about. Make sure I ain't up here just giving y'all some stuff that sound good because I said I'm a pastor. Make sure I am one, okay? So check what I'm talking about. Look into what I'm saying. Don't just take my word for it. And my assignment for tonight is twofold. My assignment is this. One, to prove that Jesus Christ is a hero. And two, that he actually saves people. All people. Any people. Any kind of person. That is my objective. Jesus is a hero, prove that, and that he saves people. So let's go to the proving first part. So we said that a hero is somebody that is admired. Admired, okay? Well, he was followed by everybody everywhere that he went when he was alive, right? People went everywhere that he went. He had 12 disciples that was assigned to follow him, but every place that Jesus went, almost as if he had a social media location way back then, folks knew where he was. They were standing on the shore when he pulled up. There was no paparazzi back then, but back then, if they had paparazzi, that's what he had following him at all times. The shade room and the gram was following Jesus everywhere that he went at all times. And so he had people going everywhere that he went. He had people like us that are still devoted our lives to living the way that he is. We're still talking about him. We're still preaching about him. We're still studying about him. We're still finding out new things about him. People are still building their whole entire lives on the fact of who this man was. I would say that that would make you admired, right? Yeah. All right, we 1 for 1. All my basketball players, we 1 for 1. We at the line. Number 2, courage. He stood up to demons. Religious leaders, people of the day that had all these things that said they were who they were, but was really self-serving themselves, was getting things just wrong, was telling people the wrong things, was more so about themselves than saving somebody else. He stood up to powers that could be. He stood up to Romans. He stood up to anybody that stood against what his father sent him to do. He stood up to Satan. He stood up to even death itself. All of this he did with not a blinking of an eye or never a shaking in his bones. I would say that takes a little bit of courage. So now we are 2 for 2. All right. Achievements. He fed thousands. Thousands. Thousands with a Lunchable. He fed thousands with a Lunchable. 2 fish and 5 loaves. That's a Lunchable all day long. I don't care how you look at it. That's a Lunchable. You go to Mario's with 2 fish and 5. That's a Lunchable. I don't know when. He fed thousands with a Lunchable. He performed miracles that nobody else has ever done. Preached truths that people had never heard before. Why? Because he was the word himself reincarnated. So he knew things that people did not know. He even walked on water. I tried it myself. I can't do it. I really did when I was a kid, tried to run from one side. Couldn't do it. Can't walk on water. All of these achievements have absolutely been unmatched. I would say that his achievements are well documented. We 3 for 3 on this thing. Let's get to the last one. Superhuman and divine origin. He is the only begotten Son of the only living God. He is God that is in flesh. He died and was buried and then rose from the grave and ascended back alive to heaven. He's the only God that we ever have known on this earth that is still alive. Buddha is dead. Muhammad passed away. Anybody else you want to throw in there, they are in the grave and they ain't getting back up. But Jesus is still alive. He was there in the beginning. He's here in the present, and he will be there always until time is no longer time. And when that happens, he'll continue on because he exists outside of time. So he's still going that. The elements obey him. The rocks cry out to him. Demons tremble at the mention of his name. Angels revel at the opportunity to serve him. If you won't say anything, he'll make a donkey cry out and praise for him. His name is the only name that has the power to save you from eternal death, and belief in him is the only way that you can ever get to eternal life. I would say that makes him pass superhuman and definitely of divine origin. So now we are 5 for 5. Would you all agree with me that Jesus is a hero? Yes. I've done my first assignment. Amen. So Jesus is a hero. He is a hero. He's a real one, an alive one that actually exists, one that you actually can hang with, and that actually wants to hang with you. And there's absolutely nothing better than hanging with a hero. There's nothing better than hanging with a hero. Think about all those people that's in your comic books and all those things, all the things that they get. People want to be around you. People want to hang around you. People want what you have. People like the way you live, the way you dress, the way you smell, the way you move, the way you move. What is going on? You get all these things because there's nothing better than hanging with a hero. And the reason that is because there are benefits to hanging with a hero. There are benefits to hanging with a hero. The gospel is full of all these accounts of people who actually got all of these different things from hanging with Jesus that is actually in the flesh. All Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John is full of all these different accounts of what they got from just being around Jesus. They got to see miracles that nobody else got to see. They got to help people that they never would have been able to help or reach. They got wisdom from heaven itself. They literally got to establish a church that is still changing the world right now. How do I know? Because it changed me. So they had all these benefits of just being able to hang with a hero. What am I saying? Peter caught more fish than he ever did in one day than in his whole life of fishing. Why? Because he was hanging with Jesus that day. The Samaritan woman got water that made her never thirst again. Why? Because she just decided to hang out with Jesus at the well that day. And there was a woman that had an issue of blood and needed healing. For 12 years, she had this issue where she was just bleeding and could not make it stop. She went to doctors. She went to wizards. She went to soothsayers. She went to anybody that she could pay some money to. Nobody could help this woman. And in one afternoon of hanging with Jesus, she was completely healed from something that had her down for 12 years. Zacchaeus, who was a wealthy man, had more money than he knew what to deal with, was able to get something that he couldn't pay for, all because he invited Jesus to come hang out at his house. There's benefits to hanging with a hero. You get some stuff just because you're hanging with a hero. But what about today, right? That's all in the Bible. What about today? Well, I would say Mark got a mentor that kept him from his thuggish ways just by hanging with Jesus. Faith was able to avoid all these major life struggles just because she was hanging with Jesus. Kat got a rider and a provider just because she decided that she wanted to hang with Jesus. Listen, y'all had to go back and check our holiday one because they were talking about their testimony. Tasia got a seeker that always knows where to find her just because she's hanging with Jesus. Dana found a travel agent who knew exactly where she needed to go to find love, purpose, and her voice, just by hanging with Jesus. And then you had Joy, who had an obsessive follower that would follow her everywhere that she goes, and she would never want him to leave her alone just because she's hanging with Jesus. And then Sakori literally got a hero that saved her multiple times from the hands of suicide. Why? Because she was hanging with Jesus. There's benefits to hanging with a hero. And when you are a true hero, a real hero, a for real hero, even villains and wrongdoers get benefits just by being around you. There's people in Gotham, if you follow comics and stuff, there's villains in Gotham City that get benefits because Batman's there. There's people in Metropolis that get benefits because Superman is there. Brooklyn is a little bit better because Spider-Man is there. There's benefits that you get even if you're a wrongdoer or a villain because you are just in the vicinity of a hero. In the Bible, they talk about Malchus. Now, Malchus was a guy that came to arrest Jesus. He came to arrest Jesus. That was his job. He came with the crew that was going to arrest Jesus, that was eventually going to beat Jesus, that was eventually going to spit on Jesus, that was eventually going to crucify Jesus, that was eventually going to put Jesus in the ground. He was with them guys. That was the crew that he was with. And Jesus knew everything that they stood for. And yet in the scuffle of it all, he got his ear cut off. And what happened? Just because Jesus was there, he got his ear magically put back together. There's benefits, even if you're the wrong side or you're on the opposite side of what you're talking about when it comes to Jesus. Barabbas beat a murder charge. He was definitely a murderer. He did it. He killed him. He said he did it, and he had no problem telling anybody that I did it. Yeah, I killed him, and I killed him 2 times over if you gave me another shot. That was his testimony. But because he was in jail and spent a little bit of time with Jesus, because he shared a jail cell with him, he was able to beat a murder charge because Jesus just so happened to be there. And then we get to where our text is, where we got these 2 thieves. In our text, we have, if you could imagine, there's Jesus who's on the cross. He's being crucified. And you got a thief on this side. You got a thief on that side. Now, in the text, they call them thieves. When you read different translations, some call them robbers. Others call them bandits. Others call them highwaymen. What a highwayman was somebody that would sneak on the side of the highway right back then. So people are coming by on horse or on foot or whatever the case may be. And they would look and they would wait till it's just one man by himself. And they would jump him. And they would take all their stuff. Sometimes they would kill them, but they would rob them. That's what they were. They were opportunists. They would set traps for people to make sure that their wagons broke, and they would make sure that their horses got caught on stuff. And then when that happened, they would just come out and they would rob them. That's what these 2 men were, and they were guilty. They deserved to be ridiculed. They deserved to be heckled. They deserve to be spat at. They deserve to be yelled at. They deserve to be made fun of. They deserved all of these things because they were hanging with Jesus at this particular time. Because they were literally hanging on the cross with a hero. Because they were literally hanging on the cross with a hero. All of that heat was coming at him and not at them.
Wow.
Can you imagine that you are being crucified, right? Somebody is killing you. You are up there bleeding out, hands hurt, feet hurt, dehydrated, tired, and knowing that you're going to die. And people have the right to come and watch you die. And they have the right to come and make fun of you and throw stuff at you and spit at you and call you all kinds of names as you are up there dying. Can you imagine how that feels to be made fun of all the way down to your last breath? And these two got the benefit of escaping that experience because all of it was coming at Jesus, because he was the one that was being made fun of, because there's benefits even if you're in the wrong to hanging with Jesus. All the mockery, all the vileness and the insults, all of it went to Jesus, and they even got prayed for. They even got prayed for. Jesus prayed for them. He said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. I'm dying just like you dying. Can you imagine? I ain't got no food just like you ain't got no food. And yet I still find it within myself to give you my last peppermint. Are you kidding me? Is that what we doing out here? There's benefits to being hanging with a hero. They both had the opportunity also to receive a miracle at the very end of this story that we're going to talk about, because even while dying, they were still hanging with a hero that had one more heroic act left in his bag, right? But he didn't end their suffering. I want y'all to know that. I'm not going to lie to you. He didn't end their suffering. Just because they were hanging up there with a hero doesn't mean that he ended their suffering, because that's not what he did. And I know that this point of it needs to be talked about because it's important, because there are side effects to hanging with a hero. It's not all good just because you're hanging with a hero. People will talk about you when you hang with a hero. People will lie on you when you hang with a hero. People will use you when you hang with a hero. People will just befriend you just to get closer to the hero. People will say stuff that ain't true. Some people won't even date you because you're close to a hero. Some people won't even kick you out of the friend group. They'll remove you out of text message chains. They won't invite you to the kickback. They won't tell you where the party is going on. They won't look out for you. They will make up things that aren't even true just because you are hanging with a hero. Just because you're hanging with somebody that's actually doing well for you. Just because you're hanging with somebody that's looking out for you. They will hate on you. They will say stuff that is not true. Although there are side effects to hanging with a hero, it will make you a target. Hanging with a hero will put you in the crossfire. And just because you're hanging with a hero does not mean that you won't get hurt. You will get hurt sometimes hanging even with a hero. The crowd, when Jesus was being crucified, they were mocking him. They were making fun of him. They were saying stuff to him like, if you're really the Messiah, the chosen one, then save yourself. Which is logical. If you're the chosen one, if you're God reincarnated, then what are you doing up there dying? What are you doing up there on a cross bleeding out? What are you doing up there all beaten and bloody with a black eye? If somebody told me they was the world champion in boxing and I see some 4-year-olds beating them up, I would kind of question, what are we talking about here? Where are you at? You're not going to sock them back. You're not going to do nothing. You're not going to hit them. You're not going to say nothing. Do something. If you do it, we'll believe that you are who you said you are. They were throwing all these accusations at him, and a lot of them made sense. And so one of the thieves on one side decided to kind of ask the same thing. And I can imagine why he did it. Like, I'm dying just like you dying. And you claim that you have the power to take us down from all of this. Y'all know how it is. If you really desperate, you ask for help from anybody. It don't matter who they is, white, black, crippled, crazy. It don't matter. If I need help and you have the ability to help me, I'm going to ask you for some help. And so I think he wanted to really ask God for help, but what he ended up doing was mocking him even more. He said, so you're the Messiah, are you? Why don't you prove it by saving yourself and us? Don't forget about us and us while you're at it. And isn't this what we do to God? Ain't this the same thing that we do to God as believers? Ain't this what we do to God for those of us that follow God? Ain't this what we do when we on the cross, when we being crucified, when things ain't going the way we want to, when stuff is getting hard for us, when we didn't get the job that we wanted, when they left and broke up with us, when we still ain't married and we 35, 36, 37, we getting kicked out of our house, we back on the bus all over. Ain't this what the same thing that we do? Where are you, God? Lord, what are you doing? Get me up out of this. Why aren't you saving me? I've seen you do this so many other times. That's a side effect of hanging with somebody that has the ability to do it. I've seen you save me before. I've seen you look out for me before. So what are you doing right now? What's happening? Why aren't you fixing this? God, help me, save me, fix this. Get them, them right there. You want me to point out her? I don't like her. It's her. Get her. That's what you're saying. God, help me. I need y'all to understand this is normal. It's a side effect of hanging with a hero. You've seen them do so much heroic stuff. You think they're supposed to show up every single time you got a problem. Right. And it's frustrating. And it's confusing. And it's tiring. And it's irritating. And it's painful. But it's normal. It's a normal side effect of hanging out with a hero. Of hanging out with God. To see us in trouble and to not come immediately, it's normal for you to question why. Yeah. Why are you not coming? Yeah. What are you doing? And any of you that's ever watched any superhero movies, right? There's always the damsel in distress. She down there like, about to drown. The building about to blow up. Something's about to, what I'm saying? Like it's the seconds are pouring down. And I would imagine these people are thinking in their mind, now, wait a minute. I know Superman knows I'm in here. I know he knows where I am. I know Batman knows what's going on. Why isn't he here yet? Don't you see what's happening? I'm about to die. Help. Aren't you going to do something? It's probably what they're thinking. But when you watch those shows, we all know what the superheroes actually do. Usually they're caught up doing something else in order to truly save the day. And the same is here. Heroes understand that what really matters. They're concerned about what really matters. And they're concerned about what really needs to be done in order to save you. They're not just trying to save this situation and stop that. They're trying to save your day. They're trying to save your life completely. They're trying to save things that you don't even know that was going on. They're working on stuff that you can't even conceive of. They're fighting things that Jesus is fighting things for you that you have no idea was even assigned to you. There was illnesses you were supposed to have, car accidents you were supposed to be in. Most of y'all wasn't supposed to make it past birth. Your mama wasn't supposed to be here, neither was your grandmother. A bunch of people in your time, you breathing right now is a whole miracle because of all the stuff that Jesus has been doing. In this moment, while they're making fun of him, he's not focused on what they're talking about. He's focused on defeating Satan. He's focused on defeating death. He's focused on defeating sin. He's focused on defeating hell. These are all four things that have been on the earth almost since the very beginning of the earth even being there. I'm trying to fight stuff that's been around since the beginning, and you think I'm worried about proving y'all right? You think I'm worried about what y'all are saying to me? You think I'm worried about proving some naysayers wrong? When you look at it, that is such a small, microscopic, you look like the naysayer. Yeah. That's such a small, microscopic comparison. If I'm fighting Satan and death and sin and hell, why am I worried about what y'all are saying down here to prove myself? He was focused on forgiveness. He was focused on fulfilling the scriptures. He was focused on finishing his mission. He was focused on delivering a long-term inclusive solution, which we now know is salvation for all eternity. That's where his mind was. And so you have this thief over here who's questioning him and asking him, if you really God, why aren't you doing something? And I would imagine Jesus is sitting there frustrated like, you fool, you have no idea what it is I'm really doing. You have no idea what it is I'm truly working on. You have no idea what I have going on. I challenge you, those of you that are in a hard spot right now, believe me, God knows where you are. God knows what's going on with you. So you have the one thief that heard all of that stuff, but the other one is the one I kind of like. Because the other thief, he said that God was innocent. And Pastor, I wanted to know how he knew that. Because he ain't never met him. So how you know this dude ain't really do it? You know, some people don't look like scammers and they be scammers. Some people don't look like they steal and they steal. Some people don't look like they'll rob you and they will rob you. Right? So you don't know who this man is. How you know that he's innocent? And the Bible never tells us how he knows. But if I could give my theory, if I could give myself my theory, this is what I believe or what I see about what the Bible did say. The other thief, he heard what Jesus said. Because Jesus only had said one thing when he was on the cross at that particular point. One thing. He said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they are doing. Wait a minute. Excuse me? You dying just like I'm dying. You up here getting yelled at just like I'm getting yelled at. You hurting just like I'm hurting. And you praying for the dude that just put a nail in your hand. You praying for the people that's spitting at you. You praying at the people that's throwing stuff at you. Something's a little bit different about this. I don't understand. So I think he heard Jesus say that. But then he also heard what his enemy said. Because his enemy said some key stuff as well. In their mocking, they admitted to some stuff that they wasn't supposed to admit to. Because they said, we seen him save other people. So that means y'all know he is a savior. That means y'all seen him or heard him do some miracles. That means he's better than what y'all talking about. That means he has done some things that you've never seen nobody else do. So I think he put two and two together. Wait a minute, he's praying for them, and they done already admitted that he saved some people. I think he put them together, and something just kind of above his own knowledge hit him and said, "Am I hanging up here with a hero?" Am I actually hanging up here with a hero? Is this the Messiah that was promised? Is this the chosen one? And if it is, dude, what are you doing talking bad to this dude? Don't you fear God? We about to die. If this dude is who he says he is, why are you talking crazy to him? That ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm going to believe him for what he is. And maybe, just maybe, he might save me too. I know that the time is running out. I know that we're getting ready to die here, Jesus. But maybe, Jesus, Son of Man, Messiah that was promised, maybe you can do one more heroic thing and maybe you can save me. Just maybe I can be added to one of those people that you saved. Understand that Jesus is always working on what you need. He knows your current troubles. He sees your bank account just like you do. I promise you, he sees your bank account. He has access to Citibank, Wells Fargo, whatever you have. He has access to it. He sees where you live. He sees where you live. He knows who has just died. He knows what they said to you. He knows how bad that hurt you. He knows that you want to be better than what you are. He knows that you are frustrated. He knows that you're ready to quit. He's seen every word that you've ever done, every tear that you've ever shed. He's aware of every single one of your needs. Trust me, God is aware of your troubles, because look at where Jesus was when these men were going through their troubles. Where was he? He was hanging right there with them. As they were going through their worst moment of their lives, where was he? Hanging right there with you. God has been hanging right there with you this entire time. God has been hanging in there in all of your troubles, right there with you. I say to you on tonight, let me encourage you, hang in there. Please hang in there. Please hang in there. As we learned last week, sometimes you may have put yourself in this situation and it may be your fault. And maybe you just getting a little bit of what you deserve. But I want you to know before you walk out of here, hang in there. Do not give up at this particular point. You may be in a storm right now that's just a side effect because of the fact that you decided to hang out with Jesus. And Satan thought that he can come and do some stuff to you, and God is just toughening you up a little bit. Hang in there. See what this is all about. See what he's got going on for you. It may just be some misfortune. You just may be your time for you not to be having a good time. But I'm telling you, just hang in there, because this hero always saves. Yes. Hang in there because this hero always saves. It's who he is. We said at the top that he's a hero. What do a hero have to do to be a hero? A hero has to save. A hero has to help. A hero has to come to your rescue. It's just what they do. It's just who they are. They really just can't help it. It's how they're made. It's why Jesus came. He came to save people. And Jesus is a hero of all heroes. Jesus saves. I'm trying to get you to understand. We put it on a whole banner that Jesus saves. It's just what he does. It's just who he is. It's just why he came. came. Jesus saves. He came to save. That's just what he is. They say that you are judged by the company that you keep. But I ask you in this particular situation, because I don't think that saying is necessarily wrong. But if Jesus has come to save, and he's a hero among heroes, and in his last moments, look at the company that he kept. Look at who he was around, a thief and another thief, and religious people that's lying, and soldiers that's down here gambling for his clothes. Look at the company that he's keeping at this particular moment. So I would venture to say that God don't care about the company that you even keep. When it comes to saving you, he don't care where you came from. He don't care what you was in. He don't care why you came. He just wants to know, are you ready to be saved? Because that's what he does. When you're ready to be saved, he looked at the other thief. He said, I've been hanging up here all day just waiting for you to get ready to be saved. I'm so glad you finally asked me to remember you when I go into my kingdom. I'm up here for you and for all of them. It don't matter that you're a thief. It don't matter where you came from. Jesus is coming to save you, and he doesn't care where you came from. He's saved. He's here to save the atheists, the Aryans, the anemics, and the adulterers. He's here to save the betrayers, the bums, the bisexuals, and the bloods. He's here to save the crips, the criminals, the crackheads, and the cross-dressers. Find yourself in here, because he's coming to save some. He's here for the drunks, the druggies, the dummies, and the depressed, the gangbangers, the gays, the gossips, and the guilty. Can I keep going? I'm trying to tell you, he's here to save you. It don't matter where you came from. Homeless, hippies, hoes, hypocrites, Jews, jerks, jailbirds, jealous, kings, kids, knuckleheads, killers, liars, lesbians, losers, loners, murderers, misogynists, maniacs, and masturbators. God is here to save you. He don't care where you came from. Naysayers and narcissists, the needy and the neglected, the oppressed, the offenders, the orphans, and the outlaws, pimps, prostitutes, procrastinators, and porn stars, queens, quitters, the quick-tempered and the quirky, racists, rapists, the rude and the reckless, scammers, stealers, strippers, and the suicidal, thieves, thugs, traitors, and troublemakers, the unchurched, the unkept, the unnoticed, and the unprivileged, villains, vixens, vagabonds, and vice lords. He's here to save you. It don't matter what you are in. God has come to save you. I went through the whole thing. He's here from top to bottom, A to C. A to Z. It don't matter where you came from. Jesus is here to save you. Wimps, weirdos, wannabes. And I'll throw myself in here. Former weed smokers. He's here to save you. It don't matter what it is that you come from. Jesus is here to save you in whatever you're in. He just needs you to hang in there. God has a set time for every last one of us that he is here to save you. He sees where you are. He sees what you're going through. He sees what troubles you have. And so on tonight, I'm here to encourage you. I'm here to lay hands on you. I'm here to pray for those that are coming out of some stuff or going through some stuff or some stuck in some stuff. And you've just been wondering, where is God at? God has been right here, ready to save you. He orchestrated this whole word. He orchestrated this whole night. He orchestrated everything that is in this building in order for you to have your moment. And so if that is you on this evening, I want to pray for every single one of you in here that is in a storm. I want to pray for all of you that believes that your situation is too much. I want to pray for you that believes that you've done too many things for God to even see you. I want to pray for those that believes that where they came from, there is no way that God even wants to do anything good for them. I want to pray for those of you that just did something wrong today and just showed up because somebody made you come. I want to pray for every last one of you that is going through something because you need to hang in there. God is here to save. He saves everybody, and it's evident by the fact that the very last miracle he did was he saved some people that absolutely did not deserve it. So how dare you sit there and believe that God won't save you, that God won't show up in your situation, that God is not available for you too. I'm here to tell you that is all the enemy. He wants you to believe that you have gone too far. He wants you to believe that you is too far gone. He wants you to believe that there is nothing more that God can do about this. And God wanted you to know, I'm here to save you. I'm here to save you. All you have to do is keep hanging with a hero. And my benefits is going to offset everything that the world has going on. So if that's you on tonight, I just want you to come right on up here. It's not going to be long. It's not going to be drawn out. But I want to pray for you because all of us need encouragement. when we're going through something that seems like God is not even showing up. So if anybody in here feels that they fall into this category, that can absolutely admit, Pastor, I'm going through some stuff. I don't care to really tell you about it, but I know this much. I'm getting ready to do my own thing. I'm getting ready to walk away. I'm getting ready to go do whatever it is I want to do. Because if God really loved me, he would have been showed up by now. I want to pray for you. I want to pray for you. Those of you that showed up and you didn't have any more left in the tank but to just show up for tonight. I know that you're in here because he made me write this whole thing. He wouldn't let me go